Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us.
Well, it's that month. It is Canuary. And it's one of my favorite months to be canning. If y'all watched my last video, I told y'all, well, not my last video, but my last canning video, a couple of videos ago, I canned up some beef tips, and I told y'all that January and February is one of my favorite months to be canning up meat. I love to can in the winter time, whether it's meat or anything else, or dehydrating. I just love them 2 months because you got the time to spend in your kitchen and get all this done. Well, spring and summer and fall are very busy. But anyways, today, I'm in a collaboration with the Canuary ladies, and there's a bunch of them. And there is, if you go up to the search bar and you type in Canuary, all these wonderful channels that do all this canning will it'll show up, it'll pop up, and you'll get to go to all of them and see what they got going on too. And I guarantee it's going to be something you want to can. I'll leave the information down in my information box below my video too. So we're going to get started canning some fajita chicken. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Now I can chicken all the time, and I love canning chicken and turkey, and of course turkey broth and turkey or chicken stock. That's one of my favorite things to do and put in my pantry because there's so much you can do with both of them. So that's a good thing to keep in your pantry. But then too, I like to take and do some little different things for convenience. Now, I don't just can for convenience. I have been putting up and filling my pantry for many years. Probably before it was the cool thing to do because it was just the thing that I grew up doing, my family done, and it's just part of life is to keep your pantry full because you grew your own food, you raised your own meat, and that was just part of being on the farm. Nowadays, you don't have to have a big farm to do all that. You can go to a farmer's market, you can buy all the vegetables you want, and plus you can buy farm-raised meat to put up too. Or maybe one of your local or your neighbors, one of your neighbors that raises cattle or hogs or chickens. They sell them, so you're able to do that too. So there's different reasons to be canning up meat. One of them too is, what if the grid went off and you've got all this meat in the freezer? What are you going to do? That's why I always say keep quite a few jars. Always keep them back. Keep them empty. Keep you plenty of lids and rings because this could happen. It could happen to any of us. It could happen to all of us. And there you've got a freezer full of meat. And either your electricity is not going to come back on at all, or it's going to be a week or two. We have had them off, electricity off as much as 2 weeks before. So you're in panic mode. Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to get my jars and I'm going to get them sanitized, get them cleaned up, get all my stuff together, and I'm going to spend a day getting my meat, or 2 days, whatever it takes, getting my meat canned up. Or that, or it's going to run. Because we don't all have solar, we don't all have big generator backups. We're not able to do that. So whether if you live in a little apartment, a little tiny house, or a little cabin like I do, or a big house, you can do this and keep plenty of meat, or make sure that you keep plenty of jars backed up for the meat that you have stashed in your freezer, because that's something that I would absolutely have to do. I'd have to go out there, and me and Danny would have to come in here, and we'd have to start canning that meat. So that's another reason. Even though I do have meat in the pantry, I still have quite a bit out in the freezer. Today we're going to be doing fajita chicken, and this is going to be so good. It's going to be something that I can come in and I can make all different kinds of recipes out of this. I can make a soup, I can make fajitas, I can make a Mexican casserole, you name it. So this is a good thing to have in your pantry. So we're going to talk about the ingredients. I've got, what I've got cut up here is I've got about 8 medium-sized chicken breasts. And I've got them cut up just like you would fajita meat. Some people cut them up in chunks. Mine are just kind of in little strips, not too thin. Then I cut up about, I went ahead and cut up probably 6 bell peppers, and I'm using orange and red. You can use whatever kind you've got. I'm going to put about 1/2 cup of bell peppers in each jar. Now I think I'm going to have plenty. If I don't, I'll cut another one. But if I have some left over, of course I'm going to eat them on a salad or something. I cut up 3 large onions, because I'm going to put 1/2 cup of onion in each jar too. If I have some left, I'm going to use it on something else. Let's see, I've got my fajita seasoning here. Back here I've got 7 cups of black beans that I have went through, and I've rinsed them and went through and make sure there's nothing in there. And then I measured out 7 cups because I'm doing 7-quart jars, and sometimes you don't know how it's going to work out, but I went ahead and rinsed 7 cups of black beans. Now you don't have to do all black beans. You don't have to do black beans at all. You can do pinto beans, or you can do a mixture of pinto beans and black beans. You can do the little red beans, kidney beans. You can do white beans. White beans in this would be delicious, especially if you're making a soup out of it. So that's our ingredients. I've got my canner back here. This is my Denali. I'm going to be using it today, and I'll explain it later why it's a little bit different. I've got my 7-quart jars here. I've washed them good, hot soapy water. I checked the rims to make sure there's no little places that's broke or anything where it won't seal. I've got all my stuff, and I've got me a little bit of vinegar here for wiping my rims, and I got my debubbler. I can't tell you how many times I've had to back up because I get ahead of myself and forget to debubble, and I have to come back and say, oh, I forgot to debubble. It's very important. And let's see, I'm not putting any salt in it. I said that when I was making my seasoning. So I've got 3 quarts of water in my canner here, and I put about a tablespoon of vinegar in there because I have very hard limey water. I have well water. So I think that's it. So I think we need to get started making our fajita chicken. Start out by making our seasoning that's going to go in our jars with our chicken and our beans, and this will be our seasoning for our fajita chicken. And I'm going to mix mine in a wide mouth jar here, pint jar, and I've got 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. If you don't have any brown sugar, you can make your own out of molasses and regular white sugar. So that's 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now I need 6 tablespoons of chili powder. Just use your favorite chili powder, whichever that is. Okay. 6 tablespoons of chili powder. And of course my favorite, ground cumin. We need 3 tablespoons of ground cumin. I use ground cumin on so much in my cooking. 3 tablespoons. We need 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika Or if you don't like smoked paprika, you could use just regular paprika if that's what you got on hand. We don't have to be exactly precise, but smoked paprika does give it that little bit of smoky type. Woo! Okay, I just made a mess, y'all. But you do, you need 2 tablespoons. Oh well, 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. And then we need 2 tablespoons of garlic. Powder or granulated garlic, whichever you have. 2 tablespoons. Just like that. I'm not going to put any salt in here. And let's see. Need a teaspoon of black pepper. Now, the one thing that I'm not putting in here that the recipe does call for is cayenne. You can put you a teaspoon of red pepper flakes or some cayenne pepper if you want to. I'm not going to put any in there because we don't like anything that spicy. But I'll have it down the description box. I'll have it on there that you can put it in there. Because some people do like that spice. We just, black pepper is plenty for us. So first off, I'm just going to stir this up a little. Give it a little bit of head start here. Now, if you wanted to put a little bit of salt in here, put you maybe half a teaspoon, but I'm just not going to put any in it. When I open my jar to make whatever recipe I'm making, it's probably going to have a little bit of salt in it, and I don't want it too salty. You know, a lot of our spices that you buy already made up have a lot of salt in it, and then you'll add salt, and then it's way too salty. So, now I'm going to put my lid on this, I'm going to shake it up real good. Now, anytime that you make a dry spice like this or any kind of mix, before you use it, always shake your jar up really good to get it all mixed up and incorporated. Okay, that is our seasoning, fajita seasoning for our meat that we'll be putting in our jars. I'm going to clean my mess up. Oh, and of course I forgot something. You got to have chicken broth, chicken stock. I don't know for sure how much it's going to take, but when I get these done, I'll tell y'all how much it took at the end. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to move my onions, bring my beans over. I don't know if y'all can hear it raining, but it's been raining here for the past week, and it's still raining. Okay, we're going to put a whole cup of beans in a quart jar. Now, if you're doing pints, you'll do half a cup. Those of y'all that have watched me and have watched my canning videos, I do have a canning playlist. If you go to my YouTube homepage and go to my playlist, I have a canning playlist. And y'all know that I love to can my own beans, dry beans. And I do that mainly for convenience, because there's so many times that I want to come in and make some kind of recipe and I don't buy a lot of beans. Okay, I done 7, I counted out 7, I ended up using 7 cups. But somehow there's a whole nother cup in here. That's why I say you never know. But I'm not going to put any more in there because they're going to swell up. So I put a cup in each one. Now what I'm going to do is I want to put bell peppers. And you want about half a cup of bell peppers. But anyways, I can black beans, I can pinto beans, I can navy beans. I can quite a bit of navy beans because I like to make homemade baked beans. So we're going to say that's a half a cup. If you want to put a little bit more and you think you got room. Just kind of tap it down in there, and I may come back and put a little bit more. I can up red beans, kidney beans, lima beans, of course our fresh peas that we grow, Mr. Brown grows in his garden. Got a bunch of them. I also have some that I put up dry because we eat a lot of beans, and I can't come in every day and cook a pot of beans. I just don't have the time. So canning up, knowing what kind of beans that we eat and getting them canned up is a win-win situation. And so many people that have started doing it say they just absolutely love it. And I have a really good recipe for ranch beans like you would buy at the store. And I'm glad that, let's see, I've got some more bell peppers, so let me get those. But I've got a recipe, a video, canning up ranch style beans, and people that made that recipe said it was absolutely delicious, that they eat them just as soon as they make them. So I'll put my playlist link down below if you want to go to it, or you can go to my homepage. You know, I love bell peppers, and I would hope that I could get as many in here as I think I can and still get my meat and stuff in there, because your bell pepper to me is what makes fajitas. Some people can't eat bell peppers, and if you can't eat bell peppers, you can leave it out. If you can't eat onions, the recipe doesn't call for onion powder in my fajita seasoning, but feel free to put, some in there if you want to. There's always room for improvement, on stuff that the way you like stuff. Okay, we got our cup of beans, and it says a half a cup of bell peppers, but give or take. Look how pretty that is. Okay, now we're going to do our onions. I cut my onions and bell peppers up last night and put them in the refrigerator so I could get going on this today. I've got grandkids here today too. Okay. We're going to say that's about half a cup of onions, because like I said, I've got to be able to get my meat in there. So there's no way that this would not be good, for sure. And I know you are looking at this and thinking all the different things you could do with this. Kind of like when we canned up the beef tips. So much you could do with it. And I'll be doing more. This is what I've got time for today. So this is what I'm doing. And I always come back and I'll do a little bit more to get plenty on the shelf. I don't like overwhelming myself. They had I think it was a collaboration that was called Every Little Bit Helps. And that is the absolute truth. You don't have to do a big canning session to fill your pantry up. You can do what you got time for, do a little bit at a time, or maybe you can only buy a little bit at a time. But as long as you're doing a little bit, it counts. It counts, y'all. And the smell of all of this is absolutely making me hungry for fajitas. That's for sure. I told the grandkids that we'd have bacon sandwiches for lunch here in a little bit, so I've got to get this in the canner. Get them some lunch cooked. Yeah, we've had rain. We've had rain all week. And believe me, I'm not complaining a bit. Okay, we're going to call that half a cup to each jar. And I'm just going to kind of press that down. My hands are clean. Now, we're going to start putting our chicken in. Let's see. Okay. Now, you want to put whatever, I don't know what size chicken breast or chicken thighs you'll be using, but I'm going to put at least a whole chicken breast in mine, or you can put half a chicken breast and half of a thigh, or if your thighs are little, cut up 2 thighs. You can see how I cut these up in the strips, kind of like you would fajitas, just like that. Okay, I'm going to finish putting the meat in here, and we'll come out back and we'll put our broth in. Okay, we got our chicken in there, and what I figured out is I ended up putting I cut up 1 medium chicken breast per quart, and that's what's working out for me. I think you could probably do 8 medium chicken breast where you could fill it up a little bit more. So I'm going to put 8 medium chicken breast, or you can half it, like I said, breast, thighs, whichever. Okay, now we're going to put in our broth. I'm going to rinse off my funnel. And I don't have any homemade broth at this time. That's something I've got to get done next couple months. And you want to fill it up to 1 inch headspace, which is right here. But you need to measure it to be sure on your jar. I'm going to go ahead and put my broth in. I'm going to debubble this one. Go down the sides, just like that, because see, I'm able to put more broth in here. Since I debubbled it, I'll be able to put more broth. So there you go. Now, I need to come back and redo my steps here, because I forgot to put my seasoning in. You want a tablespoon of your fajita seasoning. 1 tablespoon. I know you're watching me and you're like, Lori, get yourself together. Lori's a busy woman, but I do need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. I mean, I could have done it afterwards, but put that in there. And each one, pretty good tablespoon. Okay, now I got it in there. Now I can continue to put my broth in. I'm going to rinse my funnel in. And then finish with my broth. So I put so much in, and then I come back and debubble it because I'll be able to get more broth in there. Okay, put more broth in this one. Inch headspace. Bubble it again, debubble it. Need to put just a little bit more in this one. And I'm going to finish putting my broth in all my jars and debubble them, and then we'll put our lids and our rings on. Okay, we got them all full with the broth. Now, you can see it's not as pretty now with the broth in there, but it's going to taste good. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take a little vinegar and I'm going to wipe the rims to get anything that may have gotten on there, chicken or whatever. Now I want to show y'all something. When you're wiping your rims, you see the stuff you can get on there. I watch a lot of people use the same side that they've wiped that rim, and they'll go over here to the next jar and they'll wipe it again with the same side. And what you're doing is you're wiping the mess on it that you got off the other. So I like to, you can see how much was on there. That's seasoning. So I'm going to flip that over and wipe it so that I'm not taking the mess from the other jar and wiping it on the next one. So I've flipped my paper towel over to a clean spot. Okay. Now I've got my lids. So everything's debubbled. I got my lids and they're hot. They've been in hot water. I still ain't found my little lid wand. I need to order one. I just keep forgetting. It's not something I have to have, so I forget about it. But it is convenient to have like times like this when your lids are sticking together. So I've got my canner ready with the water and the vinegar, but I don't have it turned on because everything's at room temperature since we're doing raw pack. Now we're just going to take our rings, finger tight, and I'm going to get my rings on here, and then we'll get them in the canner. This is my Denali pressure canner. We're going to put our lid on. We're going to check everything before we put our lid on. Always make sure that your vent hose and everything's like it's supposed to be. We're going to shut it. Okay, on the Denali, the vent hose right here, and it does it itself. We're on my Presto canner. The vent hose would be right here. And you would vent it without the weight on for 10 minutes. You'd let that steam. Once the steam started coming out of your Presto vent, you let it vent for 10 minutes. And then you put your weight on there. And then let it come up to pressure. The Denali does it itself. This is where the vent hose is, right here. And once it's does its pressure, the vent, then you leave this stays on here the whole time. You'll never take it off. This is a 10-pound weight. It comes with a 15-pound weight, but where I'm at is 10 pounds of pressure. So it'll be 10 pounds of pressure. For quarts, it'll be 90 minutes. If it was pints, it'd be 10 pounds of pressure and then 75 minutes for pints. So you just have to check where you're at, your sea level, and at what pound you need to pressure can in. So, anyways, I'm going to turn, since everything is being brought up to, it's all raw packed. The water was just at room temperature, so I'm going to have to bring it all up, so it'll take a little bit than if it was already everything hot. And then we'll come back and we'll start countdown for 90 minutes. Okay, we're at 10 pounds of pressure. I turned my heat down so that it'll stay at this constant pressure. And we'll start counting down now for 90 minutes, an hour and a half. Well, okay, our chicken fajita is out of the canner after 90 minutes. I let the pressure go down completely to 0, and then I waited another 20 to 30 minutes before I took the lid off my canner. And they're still bubbling. And I have to confess, I never said that chicken fajita canned up was very pretty, because it's not. But looks ain't everything, is it? It's going to taste good. Most anything you can that's got meat in it doesn't can up very pretty. But I'm not worried about that. My kitchen smells like fajitas. I know that much. And I can't wait till a couple of days from now. I may open a jar up and may do a recipe for y'all to show y'all how I use it. I need to do that with my beef tips too. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this canning video, and I want to say a few things too. Canuary is sponsored by 4 Jars and Lisa Sutton over at Sutton Days. They are the sponsors of the giveaway that's going to be at the 31st of January. And to be eligible for the giveaway, you need to watch all the videos, or all the ladies and men, whoever all's in it, that each day there's a canning video with Canuary collaboration, and you watch every one of those every day, and you comment on that video, and then you can register and sign up for the giveaway. And the giveaway is a really good one. Like I said, 4 Jars is let's see, they're giving away, I believe, a canner and lids, some really pretty dish towels like I've got here from 4 Jars, and I don't know what all, but it's quite a bit of really nice stuff. And then Lisa over at Sutton Days, she's giving away, I believe, a canner and maybe oh, I can't remember, a water bath canner or something. But either way, it's all going to be really, really nice gifts. So y'all go through all the channels that I'm going to have listed at the very end of this video. Don't stop it, because there's going to be the lineup and each date of each one of these channels that put up a video on that day. So if you didn't get to watch all of them, you can go back. And I'm going to try very hard to put everybody's link down in my information box down below my video. That's always where my recipes are and all my information. So I'm so glad I finally got this done, and I'll be doing another load too, because this is really going to come in handy. And I'm going to be doing some more canning meat, and I use my 4 jar lids, and you can hear them popping. Most of them have already sealed. I've got 2 of them that haven't sealed yet, but they will. I just got them out of the canner. And it smells so good in here. So I hope y'all go back, and I hope y'all watch all these ladies and men, whoever's doing. I haven't got to watch all of them, but I'm fixing to go back, and the ones that I haven't got to, I'm going to go back and watch, and because I don't want to miss none of them. But I hope y'all like this recipe. I hope y'all try it. Maybe you don't can. Maybe it's just an idea for you. If you don't can and you'd like to learn, I've got a playlist where you could, the easiest thing to start canning, and a lot of these channels are the same way. They'll take you step by step to learn how to can. We'll see y'all in a couple of days. Don't forget about Mr. Brown and his channel. Hopefully this next coming week he'll have a new video put up. If I can get him out of the duck woods, which is okay because he's been bringing home ducks, and I love duck meat. So we'll see y'all in a few days. Y'all stay dry, stay safe. We love y'all. God loves y'all. And God bless.